haunted. And basically, what I bought these from a woman that she didn't know the name of the person that's haunting these objects, but that she, you have to wear both the necklace and bracelet to experience this lady that supposedly, when I look in the mirror, I'm going to see her. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens. I just wanted to mention that. So we're back with Kate Gammage. And Kate, I wanted to talk to you about Paranormal Chasers United. You that group?
Yes, I did. It used to be me and my friend Dell. We're actually like no longer a team.
Yeah. So you don't really get into it anymore.
Don't really do any investigations. Haven't really been to any conventions besides your convention. Really haven't investigated in a long time.
Okay. So then you decided to become an ordained minister. Well, yes. What is an ordained minister?
We're technically, I'm ordained through the Universal Life Church, which a lot of celebrities have now been ordained through this place, through this church. We're technically considered just a marry. We can marry people, do funerals, do house blessings, and that's really about it.
And so, basically, you became one.
I became one because it was like as a safety net, as a psychic because some people don't trust certain psychics. So when they see this, they're willing to go to that person.
I understand. I'm glad, because I may need to use your services sometime. Now, you're also a Civil War reenactor and a living historian. What is the difference between those two?
They're both the same thing. Some people just call them some people call us living historians, reenactors. I not only do the Civil War, I do the 18th century too, which is like Colonial Williamsburg, Revolutionary War.
And so that's the difference.
And there is
time period,
in the time period and into the fact that most reenactors don't like to be called reenactors. Even though we do reenactments, we like to be called living historians. Most of us living historians have a little bit more history background. Like we've worked for the National Park Service, which I do, I volunteer. Most of them do have degrees in history. Some of them are ex-teachers and other things. But it takes a lot of work to be a reenactor and a lot of money.
Oh, right. Especially, you know, all the stuff that you do, the dressing the part, that adds up, and it takes a lot of time.
Thousands of dollars.
Wow. And you got to get everything just right.
Almost perfect. We do sometimes non-history correct things, because sometimes you do got to use a little modern things under your clothes.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's talk about you being a psychic. First of all, what kind of psychic are you? Because there seem to be, every other friend of mine's a psychic, and I don't know the differences.
There is different abilities. I'm technically not only am I a psychic clairvoyant, I'm a psychic medium. I can see spirits clairvoyant. We can kind of tell the future, but not clear. And there are different versions of clairvoyance. There are like clairaudicy. I forgot the other one. There's different.
Whether you can see,
hear, smell, feel. Some people are not. Some people say they're psychic, but they're actually sensitive. There are some very well-known ones that try to say they're psychic, but they're just very sensitive. Yeah.
I've been told I'm a sensitive and an empath. I don't know. You'll have to tell me if I...
An empath, I'm not. I'm also an empath too. I can feel people's emotions, illnesses. In certain battlefields, I have to make sure I have a shield put up, or I can start feeling their pain. And it can get very nasty to the point where I'll throw up.
So how old were you when you realized you were psychic?
I was 10. 10. I actually saw my first spirit at 10 years old.
That's what I was going to ask you. You saw your first spirit at 10 years old, and you have to tell us a story about that.
He had, it was during a storm in Texas. I was sleeping because we get really bad storms, and to the point that our roof feels like it's going to pop off. So sometimes we'll sleep in this TV room. One of us will, because we don't feel safe going under that roof, even though we have hurricane clips on a roof. And I was sitting there, and I actually knew when I had been woken up that I was in like this, I really wasn't in our field, I was in his field, because I had turned the TV up, but over the side you could see this white like light, looked like it was a TV. And then he's sitting, looks just like a human. You would have thought it was just a human sitting there staring at there, but he's in like clothing from the Titanic era. looking over, very intelligent to the point that he could actually staring back. And then when I went to stare back, he stared back, smiled, and then kept looking the other correct way. And then I blinked and it was gone.
So that was your first experience that you felt you were psychic, or
I knew right then and there.
Now, is anyone else in your family psychic?
My grandmother's had abilities. Actually, it's usually runs in the family. My grandmother's seen her own aura. My mom has had abilities. My brother's had abilities. All my aunts have had abilities. Sometimes they don't like to listen to their abilities and do things outside of the abilities, but yeah, we're very gifted.
Now, do you consider your abilities a gift or a curse?
Sometimes it can be a curse.
I was going to say, or either.
Sometimes
both.
It can be a gift.
Yeah. So what do you think? So what do you think are the pros and cons of being a psychic?
Sometimes the pros is you do know things beforehand. Sometimes. Cons, there's a lot.
Yeah, because the pro can also be the con. You know things beforehand.
Beforehand.
Do you want to know them? I would think, too, a big problem would be everybody wants a reading. They're like, oh, I've never asked you. I do sometimes say, Katie, what do you think?
There are some people that do want free readings. And I'm like, I'm not giving you a free reading. If you're going to get a reading, you're going to pay.
Yeah. So do you have any funny stories about being psychic? Like you knew stuff that you shouldn't?
I've known a lot of things that I shouldn't about certain people, and then they don't believe me when I finally come up to them and I do say that certain things, even though they're gifted and they do know that I have gifts, and I look at them and they're like, oh, you're lying. I said, no, I'm not lying. And you know it.
So do you have any other stories or little stories? I mean, I would think if you're psychic and you know somebody likes you or something, you feel it, you know it, and
you do sometimes. It depends on what your guides want to say.
So how does that work? Do you have a guide? Do you have a spirit guide?
We have several spirit guides. Every single person does, including angels, and then there's a few protecting ones. And the guides will go to their guides, and that's how they communicate.
Okay, so you never really communicate with a spirit. You go through the guide.
It's as a safe net that you don't want to, like, because I do know some people that think they're the God's gifted thing and they'll communicate with everything. Won't mention names.
I know who you're talking
about. But that's how we are. It's as a proper safety net to be able to have the angels and stuff come in there without picking up on anything that's demonic that could be around too.
Wow.
Or evil.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you come back. We are almost out of time, and we're gonna have you come back for another episode so that we can talk about your other skills and abilities that you have. And quickly, when you talked about the first ghost and you said he was dressed in Titanic clothes from the Titanic period, is it related? I know that you had a past life and we're going to get into that on the next episode. Is this somehow related to the past life?
Not to the Titanic era, but yes, it is related.
It is related. Okay. So, yeah, we will have you come back to talk about other things on another episode. And is there anything else you'd like to add or shout out to anyone? Your mom? Say hi to your mom?
Nope.
No? Your mom's probably watching, I'm sure. She's, like I said, it was so nice to finally meet your mom. And she is the cutest, sweetest doll. And the thing I loved about your mom is how much she adores you and just... literally, she just thinks the world of you, which all moms should, but they don't always like go around just proud of their daughters. My mom was not like that at all. So you were so lucky to have such a really sweet mom that also likes to do the things you do and goes with you on trips and so on. So anyway, thank you for coming all the way from New Jersey.
You're welcome. And
we will definitely see you on another episode. I just want to say thank you for watching the Evermore Paranormal Network. I hope you enjoyed the show. Until next time, peace out.
So in the end, what have I said is only that I'm sure For all I know about this place is that I call it